Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing the Christmas Carol tag. I was tagged by Rosie. I'm gonna link her channel down below. If you're not following, if you're not subscribed to Rosie, what are you doing? She is incredible. I love her so much. She's definitely one of my favorite YouTubers and also a friend. Her video made me laugh because when she tagged me, she mentioned that she knows that I love Dickens, so it made sense to tag me in a Dickens inspired tag. But the confession I'm here to make is that I've never read the Christmas Carol, and I felt so bad about it that I actually went out and got it. So I will definitely be reading the Christmas Carol this December. I was gonna say this winter, but no, December. But let's get started. Question number one, A Ghost of Christmas Past, a book that was a childhood favorite. I mentioned The Secret Garden before as one of my favorite books when I was a child, and I just want to mention it again. I really would like to reread it because I remember the general premise, but I don't really remember much of what actually happens in the book. When I was studying musical theater, the musical of The Secret Garden kept coming up because, you know, it's a very popular musical. It won a lot of Tony Awards and I know several songs from it. My favorite is Lilly's Eyes. I'm gonna link a video of the song because it's so beautiful, and I had to look up what's happening to what is the premise of the song, because that's how I don't remember it. That's how much I don't remember of the book. The book is about a 10-year-old girl who grew up in British India, and she's very spoiled, but then her family dies of cholera and she's sent to England to live with her uncle. He's not exactly someone who enjoys children, and she finds a garden, I think, and I know there's a boy there that she befriends. Oh, anyway, this song, which even if you know nothing like me, listen to it, it's so beautiful and the lyrics are incredible. It's from what I gathered, Mary, who is this little girl, she looks a lot like her aunt Lilly that passed away, and her uncle, Mary's uncle, is still not over the death of his wife Lilly, and his brother also comes in the story, and this song is them both singing about how Mary has Lily's eyes and they were both in love with Lilly. And it's just heartbreaking and it's so beautiful. Watch that video. I just rewatched it and I cried a little bit. So yeah, I really want to reread The Secret Garden. Also because there's a movie coming out, I'm pretty sure. So I want to be reacquainted with this story. Question number two, The Ghost of Christmas Present. A recent book that you think will become one of your all-time favorites. Now, I've given 5 stars to several books recently, but I've mentioned A Light Amongst Shadows before, that I gave it 5 stars and I really loved it, and I have not stopped thinking about that book and its sequel, A Hymn in the Darkness, and the characters, and it went so far as I wrote a song. I've not spoken about this a lot in my booktube, but I am a songwriter, and in the last several years, a lot of the songs that I've written have been inspired by books, by characters, by specific scenes in specific books, and that's where I get my inspiration and stuff. And 2020 has been really difficult. I've not finished a song this year. I've started 2 maybe, and it's just not been a very creatively fulfilling year. After reading A Light Among Shadows and Hymn in the Darkness, I just could not stop thinking about the characters, and especially the character of Will, his arc, and his internal struggle that happens in the second book, and just his story and his arc really stayed with me, and I really wanted to expand on that. And I just started writing, and I want to say that I finished the song. There's like the last tiny part that I need to rewrite and change, but otherwise I've finished a song in 2020, and it's because of this book. Any book that has ever inspired my creativity, that automatically goes onto an all-time favorite book. For example, the book Maurice. I didn't love the book. It didn't go where I thought it would go, and it was a little unsatisfying by the end, but there's a very specific scene somewhere in like the middle half of the book, and that prompted me to write a song, Moonlight Waltz, which later became a show that I wrote. Even though the book itself didn't go where I wanted, it wasn't like a 5-star read, because of what reading this piece of literature did for my life, it automatically becomes a favorite. So yeah, check out those books if you want to. Another interesting fact about The Light Amongst Shadows and Hymn in the Darkness and the other sequels, it has 2 authors, and when I did my research I realized that it's a married couple. How awesome is that? It made me so happy. Question number 3, The Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, a book coming out next year that you're most excited about. I'm not really, you know, checking the releases that are coming in 2021, but I've heard of one that is definitely on my TBR, and it's Ariadne. This is kind of like a Circe type story, and it's about Ariadne, which I personally only know from the Minotaur myth. She is the woman that helped Theseus defeat she didn't help him defeat the Minotaur. She helped him get out of the labyrinth when he was done. And Minotaur is definitely one of my absolute favorite myths of all time. So anything that's connected to that story, I'm very excited about. Blah, blah. Question number 4, The Humbug, a book that everyone else loves that you just can't stand. This was difficult because very rarely do I feel like very strongly negative about a book. I might give a book, you know, 3 stars, 2 stars, but usually the books that really offend me, that I give 1 star to, they're not very popular. But just, you know, for this tag, I'm going to mention Normal People. I didn't enjoy Normal People at all, and so many people absolutely love it, and I think it's just not the type of writing for me. Question number 5, Bob Cratchit, an old dependable that you always recommend. I'm just gonna go for the Ken Follett books. All of them. Well, no, I've only read the Kingsbridge series, which is incredible, and I read 2 out of 3 of the Century trilogy, and I don't know if I will ever finish that trilogy. I do have the last book, but I'm just terrified of reading it. Question number 6, Tiny Tim, an underhyped book that you think deserves more love. Now, this is one of my like all-time favorite books, and came out before I was aware of BookTube or Bookstagram, so I don't know, maybe it was hyped at the time, but I've not heard anyone ever mention it on here, and I think it deserves way more love, and that is In Other Lands by Sarah Rees Brennan. That is an incredible book. This is a YA fantasy, and it has so much commentary on the like usual YA tropes. The main character is such a gem, and he is so funny, and it does so many interesting things that I want to see more, and it felt a little bit like looks at if you were to actually go through like the Harry Potter thing where you're told that, oh, you're magical, and every school year you have to go into this magical school and learn magical things. What would actually happen, and if the person who this happens to is more let's say enlightened as we are right now, what that would look like, because in that school that the main character goes to, they are primarily preparing warriors, and they do like sword work and horse riding and all of these things, and the main character is just like, I'm against violence. And there's also the race of elves, and within that community, within that, I guess, race of elves, they have the opposite of misogyny, which is not to say that they're feministic. If you take misogyny and you replace the males and the females, but everything else stays the same, that's what that community is like. And I've never read anything like it, and it was mind-blowing. Basically, the women in that society treat their males the way that males in our society treat females, and it was just, seeing that role reversed was just mind-blowing. And I think it's a incredible book, and I can't believe no one is talking about it. Please, more people read this book. It's so funny and it's so good. My voice just left. Okay. Question number 7. Today, why it's Christmas Day? What's a book that always gets you in the mood for Christmas? Apart from A Christmas Carol. I don't celebrate Christmas, and I'm not a seasonal reader, and I think I've only ever read one book that was like a Christmas book. I think it was this year, and I read it in spring. It was actually really good. I definitely recommend it. But I definitely don't have a book that gets me in the mood for Christmas. I don't have anything to say, but after I read A Christmas Carol, it's going to be A Christmas Carol. Okay, question number 8. The Muppet Christmas Carol, your favorite film adaptation of a book? Just because I've been talking about this recently with Amrita, one of my favorite films is Stardust. I adore that film. I don't know why, but the first time I watched it, I cried. I love it so much. There are 2 songs on my phone that always bring me back to that film. The first one is from the film. It's Take That. And the second one is Oh Star by Paramore, which has nothing to do with the film, but after I watched the film and it's about a star, whenever I heard that song, I always thought of the movie, and I absolutely adore it. And I saw it so many times. Like, it's such a comfort watch. I know it by heart. And a few years ago, I decided to finally read the actual book, The Stardust by Neil Gaiman, and I hated it with a passion. The thing is, the book and the movie are very different, very different. The movie is much more of a Disney happy ending, even though it's not Disney. It's much darker than Disney would allow. And the book goes into a different direction, and it's much darker, and I think I hated it because I was so used to the comfort of the movie and the story that happens there that I was lacking those elements in the book. But Neil Gaiman worked on the movie with the producers and the director, so all the changes that were made in the movie he approved. And another one that I was thinking of lately, I don't know why I'm whispering, I don't know if that counts because I never read the book. I think it's the BBC Bleak House. I've seen Bleak House so many times, like so many times. I love that movie, that series, so much, and I've been thinking about it a lot because I was thinking that I would want to invest in the copy of Bleak House and actually read the book next year, but we will see if that will happen. I have a lot of things on my TBR. Question number 9 is tag some people. If you want to do this tag, consider yourself tagged. I definitely want to see your answers. Let me know in the comments if you do this tag. I will check it out. But I do want to mention several booktubers that I've recently discovered, and I invite you to check them out as well. And they are What Chapter Are You On?, Mel the Raven Girl, Sunny Luca, Lena Reeds, and Emma at the Overstuffed Shelf. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.